Hey, this is Stu Schaefer, and I'm about to explain how to lose 5 pounds in the next 7 days, legit, healthy, and I'm going to give you 5 tips to do this. So let's just jump right in. Now let me show you what happens when you do. I had a client named Barbie, all right, and you can see her before and after picture. She lost 29 pounds in 12 weeks. She's a type 1 diabetic. We never cut calories. We never restricted foods. She was only exercising 30 minutes a day. Before she met me, she was exercising between 1.5 and 2 hours a day and restricting calories. And we did all 5 of these things that I just outlined for you. And plus, obviously, we made sure she was eating the right food at the right time in the right combination. But these 5 things were critical, and you can see how much weight she lost in a short amount of time. So tip number 1, let's roll right into it. Dinner. Stop eating carbs at dinner. Carbohydrates would be anything that would be like corn, rice, potatoes, sweet potato, fruit, things like that. Stop eating those at dinner. What happens is your body's trying to slow down for the night. Your melatonin is coming up. Your body's getting ready for the sleep cycle. And carbs are raw energy. And that's the last thing that your body needs at night. So if you cut the carbs out at dinner, that is going to make a huge difference, and you'll be shocked at how quickly you'll lose weight. I remember I told a gentleman to do this several years ago, and in just 1 week from this tip alone, he lost 5 pounds from cutting carbs out of dinner. So that's tip number 1. All right, tip number 2, the number of meals. You should be eating 5 times per day. Now, why is this? Well, if you eat too much at once, your body can't absorb all that food at one time. And so whether it's protein, carbs, fats, or all of them, if too much comes into the body, you'll digest all of it. Then your body will use whatever it needs. And anything above that, you're going to store it as fat. Now, it's no different than vitamin C. Okay, if you take too much vitamin C all at once, you don't absorb it. You end up peeing most of it out. Well, with food, you don't pee it out. You store it as fat. Now, the medical term for this is your nutrition threshold. You have a threshold. If you only eat once or twice a day and these meals are so big, a lot of that food won't be used. It'll be stored for later, and it gets stored in your fat cells. If you're eating more meals, but they're smaller, you're going to utilize all that food, and none of what you eat is even going to make it to the fat cells. Now, this is assuming you're eating the right food in the right combinations at each meal. And I have a video all about how to eat food in the right combinations to cause your body to burn fat. You're going to want to watch that. I'll splash that up here. Okay, that's tip number 2. Tip number 3, okay, you need to stop drinking your food or calories. So this would include things like soda, obviously, and alcohol, and the lattes, and you add all the stuff to it, but also in some cases, in many cases actually, protein shakes. A lot of people become overly dependent on shakes, or they're drinking juices or things like this, and they're drinking extra calories, and they're trying to drink their food. Well, even though it's a protein, that protein shake is actually very high on the insulin index, which means it spikes your insulin, because sometimes these things will get absorbed so quickly that they'll cause a insulin spike, and this can cause you to store fat. If you can use food, use food. Now, I realize that it's not always convenient, and there's certain tricks that you can use if you're going to have a shake. That would be for a different lesson, a different video. But stop drinking your food and calories, and instead switch it to a whole food, something that's actually a food that you're going to have to eat. It digests completely different. And again, now this is if you want to lose 5 pounds in the next 7 days. All right, let's look at tip number 4. First thing in the morning on an empty stomach, do your cardio. Now, there's a lot of debate about this, but I will tell you, having done this for 24 years, I can tell you with absolute certainty, when you do cardio first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, you are going to burn so much more fat, because that activity is going to reach and really get into those stubborn stored fat cells, okay? Now, I do have a whole video on cardio, the mistakes that most people make, and I'll put that up here. you want to watch that too, because you do have to do the right type of cardio. So check that video out. And tip number 5, you need a multivitamin. You really do. The food that we get today doesn't have the appropriate vitamins and minerals in it. Now, there's a specific multivitamin I'm going to recommend. This is the one I take, and I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But it's called Sport Formula Multivitamin. I'm going to put a link down here for 25, I think 10 or 25% off. The reason I use this multivitamin, well, there's many reasons. Number 1, it's a powder. It hasn't been heat processed, so it retains all of the nutritional vitamin values. Number 2, because it's a powder, it absorbs almost instantly, so you get 100% absorption. Number 3, it has digestive enzymes in it. This also helps the vitamins further absorb. Number 4, it has amino acids in there. This also helps with muscle protein synthesis and fat burning. When you don't get enough vitamins and minerals and you have nutritional deficiencies, this will make it much harder to burn fat. You'll have cravings. You may have low energy. You may not digest properly. If you're exercising too much, your cortisol will run high. Having a multivitamin as a supplement in addition to the food that you're eating, I think these days is critical, because the soils don't have all the trace vitamins and minerals. And if you get a good quality multivitamin like the one I just mentioned, and again, the link will be down here in the description, that really reinforces your body so that, especially if you're a woman in menopause, all the activity that you're doing, the stress that you're experiencing, your body's getting the vitamins, the minerals, the nutrients that it needs to handle it, to heal itself, to balance itself. And this is critical for burning fat. The problem that most women have is they're doing too much, they're not eating enough, or they're not digesting well, they have a gut issue. This causes their inflammation and cortisol to run high, and they can't lose any body fat. Well, if you do these 5 things and you add that multivitamin there, you're going to lose 5 pounds in 7 days. I'm going to dare you to do these things and report back here in the comments. Leave me a comment after you do this for 7 days and let me know how much weight you lose. Well, maybe you only lose 2 pounds, okay? 2 pounds in a week is amazing. Maybe you lose 6 pounds. Maybe you lose 4 pounds. Any of that would be amazing by doing these simple little things. Do these things. Let me know how it goes. Now stay tuned, because I'm going to splash up a great video here. You're going to want to watch this video. We're going to talk about some tips for weight loss and hormones. It's going to be great. So should be popping up somewhere on the screen. I'll see you over there on that next video. All right. See you there. Take care.